been a crazy old week in the paranormal world once again, and it started out incredibly ropey, as on Monday we had reports of A1 Solutions, or potentially someone imitating A1 Solutions, issuing public death threats against many people, which is just once again another crazy evolution of this ongoing saga. I don't even know how to begin this video. I've literally sat here for the past 10 minutes wondering, how do you even open something this abhorrent, right? We're going to dive into it. Obviously, we are all very well aware of the A1 Solutions situation against Jcart's Andrew Stonerock, and now also against some other people who have also dipped their toes in the water. And if you haven't heard about this situation, go back over onto my YouTube channel or Jcart's videos or Andrew Stonerock's. It gives you a really good kind of breakdown of everything that's gone on thus far. But it's got to a point now where I was going to leave this be because I felt like I wasn't really contributing anything to the situation at all. I was just kind of covering it, showing my support for Jcart's and for Andrew Stonerock and the situation that they've got going on behind the scenes, you know, publicly. And also just kind of like pushing people in that direction to kind of be like, look, this is what the situation is. Go and give these guys some support because they're going through the ringer right now. And that's where I was going to leave it. And I was just kind of like wash my hands of it because I was like just kind of getting a bit fed up of A1 kind of just, you know, slagging us off in videos and all the rest of it. But I was tagged in something on Twitter literally today, which I've seen, and then I've seen that Jcart has literally just uploaded a video about it as well, so we're going to check that out. I haven't seen it yet, so we'll check that out together. And it's pretty damning, man. It's pretty damning. So it all came from a guy called Lord Beagle. Now, Lord Beagle's new to the scene and new to the situation, but he uploaded a video to his YouTube channel a few days ago, right, titled A1, Poor A1, What a Tragedy. It was a rant video. I watched it. It was very interesting. It was just his take on the situation. And he also kind of got himself a little bit involved with A1 after a bit of a Twitter spat back and forth. Then he uploaded a thank you everyone video because a lot of people showed him support because Andrew Stonerock and Jcart shouted him out on the community tab, said that, you know, you've made some really fair points and stuff, sent people in his direction. And then he uploaded A1 It's Time to Stop rant video. And this again was another video where he basically talks about the A1 Solutions situation that we've currently got going on. Now, off the back of those videos, he got one hell of a comment on his videos, basically in reply, and it was from the account Anthony Tapia 077. Now, apparently this is not A1 Solutions, okay? Apparently. Now, I don't know who this is. I know that Jcart has a good idea because of like private investigators, what's going on. Obviously, I'm not involved in that, so I don't know the situation there. It's none of my business either. But they responded within Lord Beagle's video stating, Jordan needs to keep this girl on a leash. Jordan, of course, being Jcart's art. She should really have stayed quiet. What makes you guys think that if and when this is done and over with, that I still won't have her killed? It's not like he can protect her since they don't live near each other. Ha ha. So obviously, this is very serious. Now, I've seen some messages. I've seen some you know, tweets and messages behind the scenes that have been sent to me by some people, right? And it's damning, right? It's seriously damning. Death threats behind the scenes. It's horrific. And now this is a public comment that has been made, basically stating that even if this person, you know, if this situation gets quashed, this person's not going to be safe. Now, of course, this person was you know, the woman that was involved with regards to A1 and Jordan and all the rest of it. And it's just absolutely disgusting, the fact that this person has now made public threats, all spawning, and this is the kicker for me, all spawning from an Instagram unfollow. This goes beyond the paranormal. This was like one of those things where it was like, oh, this is ridiculous, man. Like, what even is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is like just absolutely wild. But now, this is serious. And this is why I felt like I wanted to pipe up again, show more support for these people, show more support for Lord Beagle, because of course, you know, he's now involved in this, whether he likes it or not, unfortunately. I haven't seen Jordan's video. He's just literally uploaded about an hour ago a 5-minute video saying, "I won't be nice about this, a public death threat, small rant." Let's take a little listen to what Jordan's got to say, because I'm sure he can probably better explain it than I, because of course he's better entwined in the situation than I.
Welcome back to the channel, your local bedhead here. Anthony, A1 Solutions. Moving up in the world of psychos, aren't we? So no longer are you sending death threats privately. You wanted to go public with a death threat. And I'm going to bring it up for you guys and read it out to you in case he decides he wants to remove this here comment here in a few. Okay, first thing I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Anthony, and the other person running these YouTube accounts, and we already know who you are. We already know. It's no longer a secret. We know.
I mean, you can tell by the frustration in his voice there that he's clearly livid, right? Rightfully so. And I watch a lot of Jcart's videos and stuff like this, and he's always quite chipper, always upbeat. Even when the chips are down, he's still quite an upbeat guy. You know, he doesn't really let this kind of stuff get to him. This is clearly bothering him. Rightfully so. You can tell by the tone of the video, you can tell by the fact that he's just gone straight into it, straight for the jugular, that he's clearly livid. Rightfully so.
Thanks to Brooklyn's awesome team of a private investigator, we know that...
So Brooklyn is the girl in reference within the comment that we've just read out.
The other person now behind these accounts. I will do you an honest-to-God favor and not say your name, even knowing we have had interactions before in the past. You know exactly who you are. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a comment really quick, left on Lord Beagle's great YouTube channel. Go support him. He's awesome. Lord Beagle's most recent post about A1 Solutions. So let's go ahead and take a look at this comment together, everybody. I'm going to keep my cool for the most part, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to make any promises. I am deeply annoyed. This is the comment left on Lord Beagle, and he also left the same comment over on Andrew Stone Rock's community post. So you can see it publicly. Anthony Tapia, 077. This is what they said.
Now, if you don't know, I think Anthony Tapia 077 777 77777 7777, like these are all like burner accounts that have come through on Instagram, Facebook and stuff like this that Jordan and Andrew have both really pushed for people to block, because I believed it was A1 Solutions burner accounts, but apparently that might not necessarily be the case according to Jordan. I mean, some of them might be. With this twisted web of absolute insanity, who even knows anymore who's involved? This is wild.
Jordan needs to keep his girl on a leash. She should have stayed quiet. What makes you guys think that if when this is done and over with, that I still won't have her killed? Public threat right out there. And we already know who's behind this account, by the way. And guess what? It's not A1. I'll just say that. It's not him. But we do know who it is. Might both have access to it, but I'll tell you right now, one of the times that was actually found out, it was not him. They know who they are. They know who they are. You're in deep shit. This right here is, you really should have backed off. You probably should have even decided to bail when you had the chance. But you decided not to do that. So that's on you. That is on you. It's not like he can protect her since they don't live near each other. Ha ha. Okay. So, public death threat, and saying that I cannot protect Brooklyn if he decides to have something done with her. Newsflash, idiots. We know who you are. Do you think we'd be coming out here publicly and saying we know it's you for a fact unless we really did? And also newsflash that nobody in their right mind would ever impersonate a nobody like A1 Solutions. Nobody. So the fact that you're out here claiming that people have made fake accounts and is pretending to be you, you're not Sam and Colby, you're not anybody from Overnight, you're not Mr. Beast, you're not any content creator of any caliber. You are literally somebody most people have not heard of, and if they have heard of you, it was because either me or another channel have shouted you out because of your unhinged videos. You making all these accounts and then really riding on the idea that people make fake accounts is not fooling anybody. We already know for a fact it's you. And actually, right here, somebody gives a little hint on that person. So take it for what you will at this point. You're both in deep shit. You both have pushed it beyond far. You pushed it far enough. Very stupid, you two. Very fucking stupid. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. This is what Lord Beagle says. By the way, Lord Beagle's a great account. He's covered this very well. He tried to be unbiased as all hell. Obviously, he's starting to see this. Yeah, he's starting to see the dark side of it. So, this is what he said.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed as well, is Lord Beagle was very, impartial to the situation, just being like, what, like, similar to what I do, but I feel like I'm too roped into it now to be impartial, right? But, I started out trying to be like, well, this is what this person said, this is what this person said, what do you think? I even reached out to A1 Solutions before I realised how tapped the situation had become to try and be like, look, tell me your side of things, like, without the hate, the negativity, the effing and jeffing, let's have a clean, like, open floor where I ask you questions and you respond to said questions. He ignored it. He even admitted that he'd seen the message in a video and was like, oh yeah, I saw the message, but why would I want to speak to him? I was just like, all right, well, if that's your stance, then absolutely fine. Like, I didn't take it personally. I don't actually care. But then for him to, like, flip it around and be like, oh, he's just stating this and this and this because he just sides with Jordan and he likes Jordan and he doesn't like me. Not at all. That wasn't the case until you started, like, making false accusations against me, against Jordan, against Andrew, against everyone. And at which point I was just like, right, that's how you want to play it. That's how we'll play it. And now we've got to this point.
Well, Anthony, here's a fun fact. This is called potential future harm. Also, portraying another person is also a crime, even when it is in a digital sense. Your comment has been screen shared by many people and will be reported to both YouTube and the authorities. I will say this just once, Anthony. Your best bet to avoid more crimes and charges is to shut up. That would be the good thing to do, but unfortunately they believe this investigation is fake. Hopefully they won't after the information was just dropped, right? So hopefully they start realizing that, oh, fuck, this might not be a bluff. Because it ain't a bluff. Do you think we're that fucking stupid? You think we'd come out here and start saying all this shit if we didn't know it was you? No, of course not. Use your brain, dipshit. 2 and 2 together, please. For once in your life, put 2 and 2 together. I know the truth about this account. I know who you are, JD. Others do as well. Best remember that everything online has a footprint, and I found yours. And this is when I said, yeah, I'm filming a video on this right now. Fucking disgusting behavior. Public death threat. We've been getting emails like that for literally months. About 4 months now. 3 to 4 months now. Emails like that. Worse ones than that, actually. I literally got an email, and I'm not afraid to admit this now. I got an email, literally, by one of these two. I'm assuming I already know who it is. I don't think it's the person behind this YouTube account, but I already know who it is. That said, do you know how easy it is to choke someone out? To strangle somebody, basically. Yeah. That was an email I got sent to me about Brooklyn. Absolute psycho. Piece of shit human being. You've been caught. Stop adding on to it. Accept your fate. You're gonna go to fucking prison. And you're probably gonna get sued. I could go down the fucking list of everything that you have on you right now. But that will be for later. When you're arrested. After you're arrested, right? You've completely, publicly made yourself look like a psychopath. You already have before, but now you're really, really pushing it. A public death threat. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. All right, everybody, I'm going to check.
So, obviously, that's how the video bows out, okay? You can see the frustration, you can hear the anger in the voice, and rightfully so. The situation has gone beyond just a petty feud over an unfollow, and it's got to the point now where literal lives are being threatened. And I also feel like, the videos that are put out there, either by myself or by anyone, serve, I would like to think, to a degree, as a little bit of protection, right? Because, and you're probably wondering, like, how could you possibly, like, how is that a possibility, right? But in my opinion, the more people that are aware of this, the more eyeballs on this situation, the less room for maneuver there are for these threats to become a reality. You see it all the time in, like, true crime stuff. Like, the more notoriety that something and more eyeballs something has on it, the less likely people are to actually action those things, because there's a lot more attention to it, which means that if anything was to happen, boom, people are straight on it. Someone knows about it. Someone sends it to someone. Someone's doing it, like creating something about it. Boom. Instantly, you've got, you know, potential safety barriers in place, like whether it be the police or whatever, right? So I think, you know, for the sake of looking out for people as well, I just want people to be aware of the situation at hand, how serious it's actually become, how far things are going. I mean, there's already one dislike on Jordan's video, and we could probably put money on who that person would be that's instantly disliking this video the second that it goes out. That's mere speculation, of course. Let me know what you guys think about this situation down in the comments below. Of course, look out for yourselves. Keep an eye out over on Jordan's channel for like the updates. Lord Beagle as well. Go and check his YouTube channel out, because obviously, you know, he's got his hands in on this as well. Yeah, it's become very messy. Then we had something that was pretty amazing, and it was the fact that a debunker, a skeptic, and the Paranormal Files all teamed up in a 4-hour-long video across 2 different, I suppose, episodes compiled into one, and it was, I think, the start of something that could be a good precedent moving forward. This is what this should be about. A debunker and a paranormal YouTuber coming together to do a paranormal investigation which is spanned over 4 hours worth of video content. So recently we had the Paranormal Files, or Colin from the Paranormal Files, team up with a paranormal debunker and huge skeptic, the Side-Eye Guy, to create a video where they went out and investigated together. Now, what's interesting about this is that the Side-Eye Guy has already made a multitude of videos on Colin from the Paranormal Files, basically, you know, calling out some of the methods and some of the over-scriptedness of the videos and stuff like this. But what was fantastic was that they were able to put their differences aside, completely push it to the wayside, and come together to create a video where they investigated not 1 but 2 locations in an over 4-hour video. Very interesting stuff. Now, obviously, the video, of course, does follow Colin, but he takes a skeptic and a debunker to 2 paranormal locations in the US. So, the Old Park Hotel in Texas and the Nevada State Prison. And, of course, the goal is to try and capture evidence of the paranormal to test whether skeptics' disbelief still affects their experiences, or if they're still disbelievers by the end of the experiences. Now, despite the skeptics' initial doubts, some experienced frightening encounters through the Old Park Hotel investigation, and notably less active than expected. Alright, so it's a very interesting contrast, because obviously we know Colin to have these kind of hyped up big moment videos, and then you've got the Side-Eye Guy, and you've got the other people involved who, you know, are Dawson Taller, for example, or Taller. You know, he's a huge skeptic, for example, and, you know, the way that they kind of contrast in the video, you'd almost think that they'd be butting heads throughout, but they're not. It's really it's a really interesting watch, to be fair. So if you haven't seen it, obviously go over to the Paranormal Files YouTube channel, but we're going to kind of break it all down right here. So the first place that they investigate is the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger, Texas, which is a historic building with multiple construction phases dating back to at least 1886, and it has served as a boarding house, brothel, and multiple hotels, with a history tied to even outlaws like Bonnie and Clyde, John Wesley Hardin, and Sam Bass gang. Notably, there are a lot of notable tragedies, of course, in this location, including an incident of a shooting of a 5.5-year-old girl, Wilma, in 1919, and rumours of abortions and murders linked to the brothel's past. Now, the hotel is known for apparitions, growls, cold spots, particularly in the upstairs area, which some believe to be a portal. An Ouija board reportedly made from wood tied to the Dead Files episode is associated with the growling noises and the name, quote, David. And a disturbing incident involving a guest described as the, quote, satanic girl, who claimed to conjure demons whilst she was seen twitching and staring into a mirror in a room linked to suspected murder. Now, obviously, it's very, very interesting. So apparently during the investigation, all right, it took place in October of 2024. The night was unusually quiet with minimal activity compared to prior visits where intense experiences like growls and physical sensations were reported. Obviously, it's very interesting that, you know, 2 debunkers or skeptics go in and suddenly it becomes a quote-unquote quiet night. Now, they do use a multitude of equipment, for example, music boxes, EMF detectors, which showed little to no activity, and devices like the DR60 voice recorder captures some responses, but fewer growls than expected. Now, it's very interesting that the DR60 was used because I know that in the debunking community, that is heavily frowned upon as a piece of equipment. I mean, heavily frowned upon. I think Kenny Biddle, Paranormal Debunker, has even pulled that thing apart to kind of show how it even works. They even did an Estes method, which yielded responses about a girl named Abby, possible abortions, and a, quote, dark room with automatic writing producing symbols like a figure of 8, a raven mask, and words like sexy and skin. Now, obviously, an Estes method, if anyone doesn't know, it's where, like, someone locks into a spirit box with headphones and a blindfold, and it's like they are the conveyor of those words, essentially. Now, Colin, in his, you know, attempt to try and, I guess, almost come up with a conflicting argument to this, states that the lack of activity could be linked to the skeptical mindset of Dawson, suggesting that the disbelief and focus on rational explanations may suppress paranormal interactions. It's an argument to be made, I suppose. Many would suggest that maybe it's just because they were there was less opportunity to pull the wool over people's eyes, potentially with, you know, like making things happen possibly, or, you know, with people like this, they're not going to sensationalize a story, if that makes sense. Colin also notes feeling physically unwell during the investigation, which may have impacted the energy of the session. Again, that's down to his claims. Now, then we move on to the Nevada State Prison investigation. So the Nevada State Prison was established in 1862, and the prison expanded over time and housed numerous inmates, including over 40 executed on death row. Now, the culinary area where inmates ate and work is apparently a hotspot for paranormal activity due to the fights, deaths, including 2 inmates killed, and reportedly sightings of apparitions and an alien-like figure. Now, the prison is known for loud noises, footsteps, and the voice of mimicry, with the death chamber linked to intense experiences, allegedly, including a recent incident where investigators felt possessed or altered after entering. Fuck me, did Zach Bagans go there or something? Portals are rumoured to exist, contributing to a high level of paranormal activity. Now, this was conducted with the side-eye guy, debunker, whom Colin has a complex history with, but now maintains a friendly relationship. Obviously, they set up immediate activity in the women's cell block, they experience immediate activity, including loud bangs, thumps, and music box activating, suggesting something was following them. Now, Colin does emphasise the importance of intention and open-mindedness in paranormal investigations, arguing that skepticism can dampen activity, as seen with the quiet old Park Hotel session. Now, he contrasts with the more active Nevada State Prison, where even a debunker witnesses unexplained phenomena, which is very interesting, because obviously, as we know, the side-eye guy is more on the lookout for something to make him believe, as opposed to just kind of calling out fakery. Now, the episode obviously explores the tension between believers and skeptics, with Colin advocating for the middle ground where skepticism is respected but not absolute disbelief. There's also personal anecdotes like the satanic girl and Colin's encounter with the ghostly woman massaging his scalp, highlighting the unpredictable and subjective nature of paranormal experiences. Now, equipment like the DR60 and Estes method are used ultimately, with results open to interpretation, of course, reflecting the lack of definitive science in ghost hunting. Obviously, that was just kind of like the first half of the video. Now, moving into the second half, because obviously it's like well over 2 hours long, there are some other kind of more notable things that have gone on. So there was activity in the women's cell block. So the team consisting of Colin, Connor, and the side-eye guy begins in the women's cell block, where they suspect a female spirit is actually following them, and they address this spirit, noting that some are afraid of her, but suggests that she may actually like them. They experience immediate activity, including loud bangs, thumps, and a music box activating, indicating a somewhat weird presence, and Colin invites the spirit to make noise or interact with the equipment, such as lights or EMF detectors. Now, they also note a suppressive or oppressive evil energy, with Colin and Connor feeling physically unwell, nauseous, sweating, and experiencing body aches despite the cool 50-degree Fahrenheit environment. Now, obviously, it's incredibly strange that this is something that what comes to happen, but with regards to the paranormal activity, the team conduct Estes methods sessions in the death chamber, with Colin using his spirit box to communicate. Responses are chilling, which do include the dogs, he'll get you, and the glass broke, suggesting a threatening presence. There are also references to 1944 with two inmates, Raymond Plunkett and Floyd Lovelace, who were executed in that same year. When asked if they were speaking to Raymond, who killed his 5-month-old son, the spirit box responds with "Hell yeah," buckshot, and gravy in peace, followed by denials like "not it" and "shut up" when pressed about the crime. Now, obviously, that's to be interpreted, I suppose, because, you know, a lot of people are going to say the fact that Colin's got it and is under the kind of scope, you know, there's an argument to be made. But if it was the side-eye guy, many people would kind of be a bit more, you know, maybe inclined to believe. Now, Colin emphasizes, and this is kind of the whole point of the video, was to kind of bring two worlds together. Now, Colin emphasizes the importance of open-mindedness within the paranormal and within investigations, noting that the side-eye guy's willingness to experience something led to more activity compared to the quieter Old Park Hotel investigation with Dawson, who is a staunch skeptic, by the way. Now, the side-eye guy's debunker mindset is evident as he tries to rationalize the noises, suggesting a car or animal, but acknowledges the unexplainable, particularly the lever sound or the spirit box responses. And this aligns with Colin's hypothesis, of course, that skepticism can potentially suppress activity. Now, it is interesting because they both seem to walk away, both the skeptic and the debunker seem to walk away with a bit more of an open mind to the paranormal, let's say, kind of, you know, after experiencing things that they may not necessarily be able to explain away. They do try and rationalize it, but ultimately they weren't able to. You know, it's very interesting to kind of see, and I think this is ultimately what people want to strive towards. All right, yes, you can call out someone, but to a degree, them getting called out, so Colin getting called out by the side-eye guy, instead of it leading to a heated debate or argument or battle online, it turned into something, and it was used, the constructive criticism was used to move forwards, all right, and to kind of better their content, and the side-eye guy was able to, you see that, come together and be like, you know what, we can make something happen here. And the fact that the side-eye guy was so open about it, and the fact that Colin was so open about it, is commendable to both characters. And I think it's actually really interesting to see how they collaborate on this. Like I say, if you are interested, go over to the Paranormal Files YouTube channel. I don't know if the side-eye guy is going to upload a video about it himself. The video is titled "I'm a Believer Now, Taking a Skeptic and Debunker Ghost Hunting." Obviously, they go to two separate locations. It is really, really worth a watch, especially if you're interested in either the Paranormal Files, Side-Eye Guy, Dawson, whoever. It's well worth your time. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Are you happy that this is the direction that it's gone in? And then we had another paranormal TV show in Help My House is Haunted getting exposed once again, this time on the celebrity side of the show, as, well, Barry Guy and his team get exposed by the side-eye guy again. Help My House is Haunted is a long-running, I suppose, British paranormal TV show led by Barry Guy and a group of paranormal investigators who go out to people's homes who allegedly have paranormal experiences and encounters going on behind the scenes and try to get to the bottom of it, whether that be by moving on the entities and spirits or by attempting to I don't know, conjure up something worse. Who knows? Anyway, it's been a long-running TV show. It's been on the Discovery Channel. It's been on all sorts of that kind of ilk, okay? There's been a lot of contention towards Barry Guy, the show's producer and, well, a lead host, let's say. And also the show itself for allegedly staging some of the things going on. But today's video is from Mythos Paranormal, who basically exposes in the video titled Help My House Is Haunted or Not, where he basically exposes the fact that you know, one of the celebrity encounters, because there's also Celebrity Help My House Is Haunted, which is an attempt to try and pull in some ratings, I suppose, may be a bit more far-fetched than it initially began to be believed. And it is with regards to Charlotte Crosby, who, of course, is a Geordie Shore star, I suppose, back in the day. And she was also on Celebrity Big Brother. She's become quite a big personality in recent years. Now, Barry Guy, though, is someone who's been in the firing line from a lot of debunkers as of late. Beardo, for one, you know, likes to take a few jabs at Barry over on his Facebook page. Obviously, this was a post from Barry talking about getting ready for an electrifying opportunity. Basically, it was a raffle with, you know, all of the proceeds go into the Dorothy House, which is a good cause, but it's to win a utility vest. Now, this is something that Barry's become notorious for, is wearing this utility vest when he goes ghost hunting. It looks like, you know, a stab vest almost, like, you know, something you'd see someone in the military wearing to go ghost hunting. Beardo loves to kind of take a little, like, you know, little moment at that, talking about what an absolute bulb you need to wear a tactical vest to go ghost hunt, you utter buffoon. How many people do you see getting stabbed or shot by ghosts? Zero, none, diddly fucking squat. For someone with such a high opinion of yourself and your bullshit TV show, you look pretty moronic. Also, if I ever want to wear a stab vest for any reason other than ghost hunting, I'd need to do a full-formed adult size, not Oompa Loompa. I'm not a fan of Barry and his bullshit show. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the beef is there, like, to kind of, you know, really ruffle the feathers, let's say. Right, but there was another one recently as well. Who wants to go ghost hunting with me? And it's like, you know, Barry Guy. To be honest, I'd rather boil my own head, Barry. I've had my own personal run-in with Barry Guy in the past. It was quashed pretty quickly, and we spoke to him behind the scenes, and it all got kind of, you know, simmered down. Essentially, he claimed that we said something that we never did I can't remember the full context of the situation. I made a video about it not too long, like a couple of years ago, actually. But I can't remember the full context, but we came with receipts and stuff, and he apologised later on and all the rest of it. Anyway, he is a very he's a very explosive personality, as Barry Guy, let's say. Anyway, on to the topic at hand, which is Mythos Paranormal, who goes on to talk about the show episode in particular with Charlotte. And, you know, he has some very interesting things to say. Now, Mythos, to begin with, is already highly skeptical of the show, calling it fake or staged for entertainment, as indicated by the show's disclaimer about paranormal scenes for entertainment purposes. The review claims to convince Mythos' grandmother that the show is not genuine. Now, that's kind of the reason for Mythos creating the video, right? But Charlotte Crosby, of course, makes some very bold claims about her paranormal encounters within her haunted house, allegedly, in her Sunderland home. So she reports there is a lot of paranormal activity in her Sunderland home, including a dining room chair moving on its own, captured on a social media video, and finding multiple dead birds around her property, which she interprets to be eerie or potentially supernatural. Now, there's also criticism of the show's tactics. So, you know, Mythos does go on to kind of criticize the show for exploiting people's fears, particularly if participants like Charlotte genuinely believe that their house is actually haunted. And the show uses questionable methods to convince them of paranormal activity, which Mythos goes on to find unethical. Now, obviously, I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that Charlotte is wholeheartedly in on this or not, but Charlotte's been in the TV industry for a very long time. She was on a very scripted reality, they call it reality TV, it's clearly very scripted, in Geordie Shore. She was also on Celebrity Big Brother, which is reality TV. She knows what makes for good viewing. She knows how to pull in the ratings, and she knows what TV shows like to see. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush and say that, you know, she doesn't, because she's been in the TV industry for a very long time. I think she, out of everyone on the show, she probably knows better than Barry how to make a better TV show on Barry's show, right? So, you know, I think she's very well aware of what she's doing. That's just my opinion on it. Now, the medium on the show also gets brought into question. So Ian Lawman, who was previously on Most Haunted, another British paranormal show, claims to sense the spirit, then provides vague predictions like a strong male figure, something below the floor. Now, of course, Mythos dismisses these as pre-researched or generalised statements, doubting Lawman's claim of him not knowing details in advance. Yeah, I mean, if you watch paranormal TV shows, the psychics always kind of leave these vague, open to interpretation things, and they're like, well, we see it with what's the name of the guy that does the Hollywood psychic readings? I forget his name. Tyler Henry, I think it is. You know, they throw out these vague kind of statements, waiting for someone to grab onto it and be like, oh, that could be in reference to da-da-da. And then it's like, right, there's the narrative to go down. And then there's more vagueness. And then it's like, that's the narrative, vagueness, narrative, vagueness, narrative. It's just a constant cycle until they get the TV show. And then, you know, these psychics walk away looking like they're absolutely the dog's bollocks. When in actuality, you know, I could probably walk in the room and probably do the same job. That's just my take on it. Now, interestingly, the show uses, now obviously Barry wears this tactical vest, right? And he looks like he's got all of this gear and clobber on. But they use phone apps to convey with the dead, which is interesting. So they use the Necrophonic app, which is a phone app that basically throws out, it's just a word bank, and it throws out random phrases, noises, and all the rest of it. I've used it in the past. It is utter bollocks. It truly is. There is nothing to it. You will hear the same sounds on loop, and they are the sounds are so vague and close to something that it could be interpreted as one of like 10 things. And as long as you put a word on the screen, right, the thought process is that you see the word, you hear the noise, then you put two and two together, and that's what your brain tells you you're hearing. It's all psychology. And they also use SLS cameras. Now, these tools are ultimately, well, the SLS camera, I think, has been debunked in the past by other paranormal, researchers. But the fact that they use Necrophonic is kind of laughable, a little bit. Now, of course, the medium as well does suggest that there's, spirits moving through mirrors as portals and watching Charlotte sleep, which can come across as quite manipulative. Mythos says as much in his video as well. And it's quite obvious that Charlotte is visibly frightened by this, by these kind of enlightenments, I suppose, believing the paranormal phenomena to be real, and asks about closing the supposed portal. Now, whether she's playing the part and playing the act, or whether she genuinely believes it, is obviously open to interpretation. But ultimately, it's, again, one of those things. Everyone says that mirrors are portals. If you have two mirrors facing each other, then you're conjuring evil entities and stuff like this. I don't believe it personally, but that's what the rumour mill likes to throw out. And, Mythos deems the show to be exploitative and using debunked tools as vague claims to create fear for entertainment. Now, obviously, the show is labelled as for entertainment, so, they've crossed their T's and dotted their I's in that sense, so we can just kind of view it as not genuine paranormal activity or proof of the dead or the paranormal, and just kind of view it as an entertainment show. And in that sense, I think it does its job well. All right, I'll give it its props. I think the show does well as an entertainment show. But if people are watching this, I mean, people criticize paranormal YouTubers for having, for entertainment purposes, in the bio of their YouTube videos, which is a lot easier to find than if you watch a show on TV, because that's not there. You know, there is no bio you can just go and sift through and read about. That's not the case. So it is an interesting kind of narrative to kind of go down. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Barry Guy, on Help My House is Haunted, on Mythos' video. What do you guys think about this paranormal news? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to the head out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.